will become the first player to lose 4 best-of-7 series when his team had a 2-0 lead. Ugh. Paul has a player option for just over $44 million and can become a free agent in less than 2 weeks. And he is 36 years old. Chris is back, but Acho, should the Suns be leery of committing long-term to Chris Paul?
Absolutely not. Don't be leery about that. Fellas, y'all know I'm a gambling man, and one thing you have to live by if you gamble, you cannot win the lotto unless you buy a ticket. The Phoenix Suns may not win an NBA title this year, but the only way you have an opportunity to win a title is if you get to the title game, if you get to the NBA Finals. Chris Paul is the Suns' lotto ticket. It may not be a winning ticket, but it's a ticket nonetheless. And again, if you want to have a shot at winning, you got to have a ticket in your hand. Before Chris Paul showed up, the Phoenix Suns were not a good basketball team and have not been a good basketball team in roughly a decade. Chris Paul shows up, instantly the Phoenix Suns land themselves as a 2 seed, find themselves in the NBA Finals, albeit there were some injuries that they got the pleasure of benefiting from. So you commit to Chris Paul long-term, not necessarily because you know you're going to win a chip. Nobody really knows they're going to win a chip. But at least by having Chris Paul on the roster, you know you're going to be competent. You know you're going to be able to compete. And all you can hope for in the NBA is to be able to compete night in and night out. Because as long as you can compete, then you can compete for titles.
I think the question is what's long-term. Win or lose this series, I'm comfortable giving Chris 2 years. You know, but 3 years at big money, and I'll give him 2 years max money, okay? That's 2 years huge money. I'm leery of 3 years. I'm certainly leery of 4 years. But 2 years max money, look, he's 36 years old. This is a guy who, before the last 2 seasons, he's been injury prone. Now, you don't generally get healthier. He has played basically full seasons these last 2 years, but the 3 years before that, he missed 20 or more games every year. And even this season, he was injured in the first round. They thankfully got through that, and then he got healthy. So he's older, he's injury prone. He averaged 16 points a game this year. Guess what? That was the lowest he's ever averaged since his rookie year in 2006. So 2 years, if we're talking long-term, give him 2 years. I can do that. And you helped us out, Chris, got us to the finals, got us from basketball Siberia. I'm willing to overpay you and max you out for 2 years. Anything beyond that, I'm a little bit afraid of. I'll get back to this when my next time around, but there's more to say here.
Yeah, I will be leery as well. I think a lot of focus is on him being 36. But remember, if you give him this deal, he would be going towards 40. So a 39-year-old, 40-year-old version of Chris Paul is what you're still going to be paying. Takes me to my baseball talking days. You get those big deals, 10 years, and everyone's like, yeah, pay him when he's 27. Then it's like, yeah, you're going to be paying him when he's 37 as well, coming down the hill. In this situation, I don't want to pay Chris Paul based on his resume, based on these numbers at 39, 40 years old. Let's just be real about this. So if you're assuming that this team is not going to win this championship, then it becomes a focused conversation on the individual player. You're like, okay, you got us this far. Now, how far can you take us? When you start to focus in on that, is Chris Paul making that conversation easy, or is he making it difficult to have? I think right now it's been a roller coaster ride in terms of perception, in terms of some of the numbers, and what you're going to decide on. Lakers series, he wasn't that great. Denver series, he was amazing. Then all of a sudden, the Clippers series, up and down because of Corona. This series, even though he's better by the numbers, those miscues, those lowlights are going to come back to haunt him potentially. So I had this conversation with, golly, it was a leader, a civic leader who talked to me about people who want to protest. And he was trying to describe it in a way that I could digest it, because I told him I'm not an activist, I just act. And he was like, no. You got to know the difference between one who inspires and one who leads. That's taking me to this conversation about Chris Paul. He inspired the Phoenix Suns to get over the hump. He inspired and helped them and led them to get over this hump. But now, is he, like Chris Broussard said, 2, 3 years going down the line, still the leader on that same journey. It feels a little short of that. It feels like, yeah, give me all the inspiration, give us the mentality, give us your mojo, give us your veteran presence, your genius, but then we'll take it from here. On top of that, you could look at some of the numbers in terms of contract situation that's going to make it ugly as well. Think about if he opts in, which he says he's not going to opt in, try to get the $100 million. But just imagine if he did opt in. Him and Booker would take up 60% of their cap space. Don't forget DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, both on rookie deals, eligible for rookie extensions this summer, up to 5 years, $168 million. Doesn't look like it's enough money to go around. And if it is it going to lead them to a better place than they are right now?
Yeah, I'm rocking with you, Marcellus. And here's the other thing. When they sit down with Chris, they got to let him know, look, this wasn't a one-way street. Yes, you definitely helped us. You helped us get over the hump and go from not making the playoffs to making the NBA Finals. And we'll see, maybe winning it first time in our franchise history. But we helped you out, too. All right? Because it wasn't like people were breaking down the door to get you this summer. Some people wanted you, but your stock was lower, all right? And we started improving before you got there. A big part of our rise came when DeAndre Ayton got back from the 25-game suspension last year in January, December. Then we started playing well. We were 8-0 in the bubble without you, okay? So you weren't obviously, it's arguable that he's the best player. I mean, Devin Booker's the one really balling, all right? So you got to let Chris know it's not just you helping us out. We've helped you out, too. You've got a coach that you love, that you vibe with. You've got players that respect you and listen to you. Do you want to go to New York? Because that's where a lot of the talk is, that they're going to be the ones to throw big money at him. First of all, their first choice would be to get Damian Lillard. But if they do throw big money at Chris, let's say, for argument's sake, they were to give him 3 years, $100 million. Do you really want to be in New York, Chris? 3 years, $100 million? Yeah, you got money, but they're going to be expecting a championship. And you probably can't deliver it. And New York is great if you're winning, and it's not so great if you're losing or not living up to expectations. And then, yeah, they'll have more money under the cap so they can go out and get another free agent. But our veteran stars that will help you win right now, are they really going to be bending over backwards to go to New York to play with CP3? I don't know, because the places Chris has been the best leader was Oklahoma City, bunch of young boys that grew up watching him, idolizing him. Phoenix, bunch of young boys that grew up watching him, idolizing him. With the Clippers, he had some trouble because they were veterans his age that didn't want to be yelled at. All right, so I'm not sure you're going to get the star free agent in New York to join you to try to win a championship there. So Chris look, Phoenix got some leverage too, and he's better off in Phoenix than he would be just about anywhere else, and they have to let him know that too.
Yeah, you make some tremendous points there. Chris Paul makes an immediate impact every single team. Acho and I have talked about that ad nauseum.